What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another Otter Creek Aquatics live stream. I'm Kendall Water from Otter Creek Aquatics, and tonight's going to be a little bit of a different live stream. I got my buddy Aqua Mate here with me, all the way from Australia. So go ahead and give yourself a little introduction.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh from Aqua Mate. You may know my channel, you may not know my channel. If you don't, check it out. But I've been looking forward all day to having a chat with Kendall and just go over a few things that we do differently, but also just a bit laid back and just have a catch up and see what's up. I love your intros, by the way.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. Luckily, they get somewhat nailed on the live streams. It takes me 4 or 5 times to do it in a regular video. But.
Yeah, I know. I hate that about the editing process. I'm like, all right, just got to say goodbye. And then it takes like 10 shots. I'm like, oh, I'm saying the same thing. And I just, oh, did I say that? Or did I do it wrong? Did I do it right?
Dan Slee said there's an Australian looming to your right.
Dan, how are you? Long time no sleep.
But tonight's live stream, we're going to cover quite a bit of different stuff, especially with it being I'm in the Northern Hemisphere, Josh is in the Southern Hemisphere, and it looks like I lost him. But so we're going to be talking about our fish keeping differences. So some fish keeping strategies that I use here in Indiana in the United States. And then we're also going to talk about our fish tube journeys. So Josh also has a fish tube channel. Like he said, his name is Aqua Mate. And then we're just going to talk a little bit about Josh's channel. I'm going to bring him back in. Talk a little bit about Josh's channel and some different things that he's got going on. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, Josh, is the difference in our filtration. So here, I use a lot of sponge filters in my fish room. I also have a couple hang-on back filters, and I have one canister filter that I actually won from my aquarium box. So I've never actually bought a canister filter, but I know that you use sponge filters from the last time we had our video. And if you guys haven't checked that out, we talk about endlers and breeding shrimp in the same exact tanks. But let them know a little bit about your filtration and where you actually may get your filtration from. Because I know I can just order from Amazon. I don't know about you. I don't know if you have to go to a local fish store to get it. But just give us an update on the type of filtration that you use.
So, very similar to yourself, I use sponge filters in a lot of tanks. Why? Because they are super simple. They're just they're cheap. So I go down to the local fish store, and they start from $10 for a filter. I don't order anything online. I do have. I'll show you this. I'll put this around. I have like a couple of these little guys. They're just like inline filters. They're not great. They don't have much media or anything. It's sort of more of a pump, to be honest. And I use that in a couple of little nano tanks, purely just to keep everything flowing, and then keep up the water changes. But something like this sponge filter, if I get the reflection away, it's like $10, and they're brilliant for shrimp. And right in front of you, we've got the baby crebensis. So it's a really good place. The fish will use it. It's just a good place for food to, bacteria to breed and food to land. So it's good for them to pick everything away from there. I have 2 4-foot tanks, and I use canister filters on those. And last but not least, the tank that we looked at together last time, that is an under gravel filter. This tank is just, I don't know, it's just so different to everything else that I've got. So it kind of works because this is purely full of endlers and fry and heaps of plants and shrimp. So I actually think the endlers are taking over the shrimp because I'm not seeing many shrimp anymore. But yeah, I've sort of got a variety of all. The only one that I don't have is the hang on back. I really like the idea of the hang on back filter, but I had one in that nano fluval edge 23-liter tank, and it died after a year, which was pretty disappointing, to be honest. And it's a sleek little tank, and you can't just fit another filter in there. So I've got one of these running in there at the moment. But yeah, hang on back I think is a really good idea, but unfortunately it's just not working for me.
So what kind of hang on back was it?
It was a fluval, so it was part of the pack. But it would have been one of their smallest ones because I'll show you quickly. My son's in there watching something, but I'll show you the tank, give you an idea.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what that other filter is that you have in that nano tank, but it looks like it provides quite a bit of surface agitation.
That's it there.
Huh.
Get out of the way. So you can see the limitations. But yes, that's what it's doing, is it's creating the surface agitation. And there's a sponge in this canister bit here. Other than that, it's pretty much just pushing the water around, and I do lots of water changes. And this is the tank that I really try to focus on growing plants, because I'm not as good at keeping plants as you are.
Yeah, I've had some dying off recently. Like, as you can see right here on the 55, they're all coming up out of the tank. So once they hit that oxygen, they pretty much just explode up there, and then you'll see under the water dying back. Because it's like, I can grow a lot faster up here, then I'm not going to be underneath the water starving for oxygen trying to grow.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty important.
But another thing is that we actually use different sponge filters. Like, I use the ones that suction cup to the glass. It has the double sponges on it. But I have used those, and I've recently got back into them buying the Aquarium co-op ones. They're actually in a little tub that I have out in the garage right now. But I really like the ones that suction cup to the glass, just because it seems like you have more room in the tank. But like you said, sponge filters for shrimp, you can't go wrong with them because all that food gets stuck there, and they can just hang out on the sponge filter and pretty much eat all day. And that's another thing that you said about the undergravel filters. I haven't used one in a really long time, especially since I've got more back into the hobby. I know we used one when I was younger, but since I've got back into the hobby quite a bit, I haven't used an undergravel filter, but I really like the amount of volume that comes out of the upright tube, and it looks like it provides a lot of surface agitation as well.
Yeah, it does. They are good. And that's another thing with undergravel filters. So, like, keeping in mind, it's really good to go and get a $10 sponge filter. But obviously you need a pump to run it. Right. But what I've got over here is a splitter. So there is one pump running that tank, that tank, that tank, that tank. Like, yeah.
And that's another thing that comes up fish room, and what I'm planning on doing as I move the fish room into the garage. I actually got one of those big air pumps, the linear piston air pumps from Gimbal, and I'm actually going to run a PVC loop. That way I can just tap out of that PVC and run all of my tanks with sponge filters. So I'll probably keep like the canister filter and a couple hang-on back filters, but all of the filters going forward, they're all going to be sponge filters because I'm going to have that big air pump, and I'm going to have enough air to run pretty much as many filters or breeder boxes, anything that I want. So having a good air pump is definitely a huge benefit, especially if you have a lot of tanks.
Yeah, great. And I think it's funny that you wouldn't believe how many tanks you could actually run off just a standard, simple. What are they? I don't know the wattage, but like, give me a sec.
While he's away, what's up, Dan? What's up, Griffin? What's up, Biggie? Nice to see y'all. It's been a while since we've been live.
I think it's just a 10-watt pump that I've got. So that's your standard pump that you would buy in a shop to put into one tank. And it's running 4 easily. So
Right.
obviously what you'll notice is every time you add on another tank or a longer airline or anything like that, you get less bubbles. But in a, what are these? These are 5-gallon and 10-gallon tanks. You don't need, thousands of bubbles every second. You just need enough to just keep everything moving. And I think it's pretty evident in that with the amount of the fish that are breeding and the plants that are growing that it's a good setup.
Yeah. That's one thing I've noticed on my 10 gallons too. Like my air pump will be on one side, so one side of the rack will have a much shorter airline than the others. But it seems like the ones with the shorter airlines are the ones that usually stop getting the air coming out first. So I'm not sure why that is. You would think it would be the longer one. Yeah. But that's the way I've seen it. And it's come to the point where if one of the tanks stops getting air, then I don't really worry too much about it, especially since they have so many plants in them that I know they're going to be taken care of. Like I used to, as soon as the sponge filter would quit working, I would make sure I just knocked it out and got it going right away again. But here lately, if it goes out, it's not my biggest priority because I know that they're going to be all right.
I haven't had any issues, to be honest. So you can adjust the airflow on those 4-way connectors, or splitters. So one time, I thought I was having issues, and I just realized it was shut off basically.
So another thing I wanted to talk about, Josh, was our water change routines. So just to give you a breakdown real quick of how I do mine, I use a Python. I don't know if you use one as well, or if you all can even get them. But I basically just use a Python, which you hook up to your sink. You put the tube down in the tank. You can gravel vac. It'll pull all the water out, run it down the sink, and then all you have to do is flip a connection, and it'll send the water the fresh water that's coming out of the tank or out of the sink and send it right back to your tank. So that's a really quick way of doing water changes. What type of system do you use?
Hey, Punchy. It gets the flow. I actually had this set up because I knew you were going to ask me this question. So, no, we don't have Pythons in Australia, but I showed this to a couple guys, Aqua Funk and Michael Moore cichlids. Might be better out in the sun.
I can't believe it's daylight there. It's crazy. It's 11 o'clock at night here.
It's a nice day too.
Yeah, it looks nice.
I've hooked this up to a hose. Basically, you pop this onto the tap and then you lock it into place. And it's got like a tap fitting. So you screw that onto your tap on that end. Screw it on, and then that fits into here nicely. And basically what happens is you turn the tap on, it starts putting water into the tank, coming out this end, obviously. And when you turn the tap back off, it reverses the pressure. So all of a sudden it starts sucking the water out and you quickly take that off the tap, and then just put it down the drain, and that'll do. Oh, that does all my big tanks. So I need to do this one at the moment, but basically, it'll probably drain a third in about 5 or 10 minutes, and then you just pop it back on, turn the tap on, and run it back in. So I know a lot of people use dechlorinators and all that sort of stuff, but I don't. I'm lucky where I live that we have some really, really high quality tap water. But yeah, I never use it. Other than that, though, that's not really going to work too well for these little tiny tanks. So I have you seen one of these before?
Yeah.
Called a bucket.
Yeah. We used to be able to go to a bar and they would serve your Coronas in those.
Yeah, I've got like 50 of them. There's another 2 over there and stuff. And basically, I'll use a gravel vac, suck the water out, drop it to, these ones, probably a third. I will do it at a time, and then top back up. Back onto this one, though. I'm going to put it right up there to sort of show you, because it is a dark tank. I don't do anything. I never change the water. And there are, for every baby you can see on screen right now, there's probably another 10 that you can't see.
Yeah, that's how all my 10-gallon tanks are right now, too.
Hang on.
It's ridiculous. Is that duckweed?
Unmuted. That is duckweed, the dreaded duckweed.
How do you get rid of it?
You do it.
Because I got a little piece here somewhere, but it's a way that I've been getting rid of the duckweed. I actually thought about making a video on it because it's really simple. But you know the little plastic flat piece when you get like a glass aquarium lid or something? It's got like a little, it's got a plastic piece that you cut out your filter and you cut out your air lines. That way it just where the glass doesn't cover it completely. I cut that down to the length of the tank. So like the 10 gallons I have long ways, I cut it down so that it's about this long, and I'll just run it across the top of the tank and scoop it out, and then I'll just sling it down in a bucket. And it actually works really well. I can't ever get all of it, but I can clean out enough to where, because I've had duckweed get so thick that when I feed the fish, the food doesn't even make it through. The food just sits on top of the duckweed.
Yeah, no, and that's similar there, but they can smell it or they can taste it in the water, and they'll disturb the duckweed so that it gets through. But yeah, that's pretty thick. I actually just noticed here. Can you see there? That's just duckweed. So I don't know what's happened there. Maybe I've lost a fish and haven't noticed, and the duckweed's gone around it. But yeah,
it looks like Riccia. It's like a floating plant, and it looks. I have it in some of my tanks that have duckweed, and the duckweed actually surrounds it like that and makes like a big clump.
Another plant.
Could be. I don't know. So next is your fish foods and what you feed your fish. So I feed pretty much just tropical colored granules, bug bites, and then I have Hikari algae wafers for my plecos. And I also feed things like green beans, cucumber to the plecos, and then I'll buy frozen bloodworms and frozen brine shrimp. Sometimes I'll hatch out some brine shrimp. I didn't know if you guys had access to frozen foods or more access to live foods. What do you normally feed?
Well,
Again, oh, there you go.
Yep, back. this is just cheap home brands at your local supermarket. It was given to me, and I feed it because it's different to everything else, so it's a bit of variety for them.
Right.
This one's a really good one, Vitalis Tropical Pellets. It's empty at the moment, but you can squash the pellets together and make bigger and bigger pellets, which is cool. And then New Life Spectrum. So this is a high quality food. We do have frozen foods. We do have live foods. I don't do a lot of it. The frozen food, sort of a pain in the butt, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
don't feed it that often for that reason.
I'll be back in 1 sec.
Okay. Hey, Pam, 54 Punchy, if you're still here. Against the Flow, New England Endler. And I feel like it's been ages since I've talked to you all. That's an awesome shot of his thing. So I didn't realize it, but my tanks are low at the moment, so you can see that glare. That's how low my tanks are right here. I need to actually do some water changes. But I'm also bouncing on a exercise ball. That's my seat for the night, so you see me bouncing up and down, that's the only reason.
Well, you're just getting excited.
I'm always excited.
So the Australian blackworm. So these are bred and harvested, or however you would say it, for worms.
It's actually named Australian blackworms. That's awesome.
Yeah, not too far from. It's probably 3 hours from me. You can get it loose, but can you see that they've put them into cubes? It's $20 for this little thing.
That's pretty,
but it's very good. It's very expensive. But the fish love it. So there's a cube of it, and basically you can just chuck it in the tank. Or what you do is it's very it's like a sponge. It feels like a sponge.
All right.
And you just squeeze it as hard as you can and just stick it onto the glass, and it suctions to the glass. So you end up with a big, perfect load for like my angelfish and all my rummy nose, but you have it stuck right in the middle, and then they just pick it off, and it takes them like half an hour to pick away at all the food. But I mean, that's perfect for me because it's hard for them to get to, and I've got like 40 fish in there. So they're all getting a bit of a turn. If it goes too quick, then people are missing out. Fish are missing out. Even the cories like it as well.
Oh, yeah. Now, if you get live blackworms, the cories will tear them up. And
yeah, I should try live ones.
I've never actually kept live blackworms, but supposedly if you keep them, they'll actually live down in your substrate, and then your cories will just be able to hunt them all day long.
That's a really good idea. I love that sort of stuff in a fish tank. If you can create an ecosystem, I really like. That's why I like shrimp a lot as well. There's a little shrimp in there too. Can't really see too well, but yeah.
So not only do the corridors get a really good diet, but they also have that constant, I guess, feeling of like they're in the nature because they're actually having to hunt the worms down. Yeah. I want to try it out because supposedly it just makes them go nuts and breed like crazy. So I'm going to try it out sometime. I just got to figure out a good source to get live blackworms from.
Yeah, I would definitely try that out. I think knowing the success that this guy's having, because it's a small time business and they can't keep up with demand. So I've asked them if I could come and do a video, but I don't get a response. And from what I've been told, they they don't want to grow it. They couldn't keep up, and it would be too stressful, and they're older. So it's like a nice little niche in the market, but I think it'll grow one day. Just needs someone.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a little review on it because apparently it's very different to what you guys have over there.
Yeah.
And I'll show you. I'll stick it onto the glass, and you can see what I mean.
I don't know if we have any freeze-dried blackworms, but we definitely got freeze-dried bloodworms.
Yeah.
What's some other ones? Brine shrimp, tube-effect worms.
Mosquito larvae. Actually, we got a little bit of water in this tank down here, and you can see there's some mosquitoes in there. So I had like an issue a little while ago where this water just spurted out. It came off and it started just going off into the tank below. And I didn't really worry about it. Now I realise there's mozzies all through this. So I suppose I'm breeding mosquitoes that I'll feed to the fish.
So as we're talking about where you get your food and stuff, where do you get things like tanks? Because I know we have the $1 per gallon sale here in the United States. So we can actually go and get tanks for $1 per gallon, up to 50 gallons. Let's see. Where do you get your fish and your plants? Because usually, the way that I've been doing it, I used to go to the local fish store. But here recently, with Dan's Fish Get Guild, a lot of fish tubers and other just hobbyists that I pretty much know and trust, they have a store on Get Guilds where I can go and see what they have for sale. That way I know I'm getting it from a good hobbyist. They're less likely to have disease. The plants are more than likely going to be submerged grown. So it makes for a better experience if you get some good shipment. So do you ever receive any shipments of fish or plants, or do you have to go to?
You're sort of out in the country, aren't
you? Pretty much, yeah. I live in town, but we're located pretty much in the country.
So there's about 6 or 7 aquariums within about 45 minutes of me. So all of that stuff, certain stores are good at certain things. Like the one really close to me has lots of good, really well-priced plants, but not a huge range. And then there's one a bit further on that if this nanoscape takes off and it all starts going well, then I'd probably start hand-picking plants a little bit more. But at the moment, I'm a novice on plants, so I'm basically just trying to grab any plant that's hardy, and then I'm just trying to, if it grows and grows well, then I know I'm starting to get onto a good thing. So maybe then I'll start upgrading. But as far as tanks, I'll turn my screen on. I just want to quickly, just before I forget, GRB Aquatics says, Aqua Mate, Otter Creek, I'm about to share my live blackworm farm green water tank. Millions live in vallus roots substrate. Pretty cool. So I'm assuming GRB. Are you still there?
Yeah, I am.
Yes, it seemed telling me it's kicked me out.
I can still hear you, but
here we go. Hang on. All right. So what I'll show you is. No, now I'm muting myself. There we go. So this tank here was $10 as they were moving tanks in a fish store. It's a pretty old tank. This one was a hand-me-down. My dad didn't want it anymore. This one, someone I worked with didn't want it anymore. This one, a customer didn't want it anymore. This one, a customer didn't want it anymore. And this one, a friend didn't want it anymore. So I haven't paid for any of these. This
so
one, my dad.
Pretty much cheaper than mine.
Yeah. The only one that the only one I spent money on was the 4-foot tank inside, and I got that. I got it custom made, but it is a standard size at the local fish store. So I just gave him the money. He ordered the glass, and he made it up for me. And then we ordered in the cabinet. And then I pulled it apart, painted it all, set it all up, and now I'm not happy with it. So,
so I want to know what GRB's talking about when he said he's wanting to share his blackworm farm. I forgot I could do this. I'm about to share my blackworm farm green water tank. Oh, maybe he's just talking about sharing it on YouTube or something.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, yeah. And if he is, then, yeah, I really want to see it. Hey,
yeah,
Melvin.
I definitely do too. Definitely talk about some different things that you do to keep it going. I wonder if it's just like a set it and forget it.
DF Knock wants to spend some money with you. So he said he's emailed you. Check your email.
Oh. Yeah, I'll definitely check my email. I was talking with someone not long ago. I'm actually in conversation with him right now about buying some of the red platinum mosaic dumble-eared guppies. So I don't know if that's him or not. Probably not, considering he said I didn't reply to him. Storm Riders Aquatics.
Formerly Quantum, I think. Quantum Star.
Yeah.
Melvin.
Melvin, you change your name a lot. One of my tank lights just went out.
Uh-oh. You said you wanted to talk about popular fish by continents, and I'm curious. You go first. It'd be interesting to see what the standard fish are. What the standard fish are where you are compared to what I have, because I feel like they'd be very similar to popular fish.
Yeah, so I know it's different for parts of the United States, so I can't really speak on everything. But here in Indiana, we have really hard water. So two of the most popular fish are guppies and African cichlids. So we have, I know one fish store, it's about an hour away from me. It's probably got 60 tanks just full of African cichlids, because so many people around here will keep African cichlids and guppies. And that's one of the reasons that I have gotten into guppies and endlers, is because the water's so hard that they pretty much explode in there. I mean, they breathe like crazy. But one other thing that I need to try to keep is African cichlids. I've never kept them because they're more popular around here, I guess. But when I first set up the fish room, I knew I wanted a bunch of small tanks. That way I could get a variety of different types of fish. But as I move the fish room out to the garage, I'm definitely going to get bigger tanks. That way I can try out some different African cichlids. So I would say within my location, those would be the two most popular types of fish.
I reckon Malawi, super popular here, like too popular. So now they're sort of like going out of fashion a little bit, and it drives the prices down. And then, your endlers and tetras, like, neons, rummy nose. Black neons seem to be hard to find up north, but I can find them really easy here. What cold water fish are popular where you are?
What is it?
What cold water fish are popular where you are?
I would say pretty much just koi and goldfish, because they're mainly for outside, especially here. Like when I was growing up, my grandma had a koi and goldfish pond that would just freeze over the winter, and then as the ice started to melt in the spring, the fish would just swim out. So that's one really cool thing about having goldfish and koi is that when it freezes, they'll pretty much just be frozen all winter long until they come out in the spring.
It's impressive, isn't it?
The only other cold water fish that I keep are the white clouds.
Yeah.
I keep the regular white clouds, the gold white clouds, and I'm trying to get my hands on the long fins.
Yeah. And I think there's like an albino strain as well.
What is it?
I think there's an albino strain of white clouds or gold white clouds or something as well.
Yeah.
They're in the back there. They're Pacific blue eyes. They're not like hugely popular, but they're Australian natives. And then we've got the rosy barbs. They'll feed a fish. They'll get some colour when they're a bit bigger, but I'm like, I'm going to rescue them. Plus, they're cheaper. Goldfish, obviously, gold barbs, and yeah, the other thing I was going to say was white clouds. So white clouds were the first fish I ever kept. So yeah, I'm a big fan of like. No, this I started. That was 26 years ago.
Did you ever breed them?
No, I never had any luck, but I probably do want to get them back, and maybe this is the tank to do it, because there's about 20 something crebensis in here, and I need to move them on. They're getting too big. They're about an inch and a half now in size, so they need to find new homes pretty quickly.
I wish you could send me some.
Sorry?
I said I wish you could send me some. I remember we had that conversation.
Yeah.
About
they're getting their colours and the dominant ones, and they're really interesting to watch. Like, they're all running away now. I'll leave it here for a second. You continue.
I actually did see some crebensis at a local fish store. I didn't pick them up. I wish I would have, but I just didn't have the tank space for them.
Yep.
What size tank do you breed them in?
It's about a 12 or 15 gallon. They are a dwarf cichlid. They do get a bit bigger than other dwarf cichlids, but they're all right in that they build their own territory. So even if they're in a 4-foot tank, they would end up taking like a 15, 20 gallon section of the tank and claiming it as their own. So yeah, I set that up. They're bred in there. They've had multiple batches, but they've killed all the batches. This is their first batch. And after that, they just haven't seemed to be interested in keeping them. And now they haven't bred at all for ages. So, or maybe they have and they've just found a new nest, because I'm just looking at them now going, why are they out in the back? They don't normally do that.
Yeah, because completely different fish, but I tried to breed the fishtubers in a 10-gallon tank. It didn't work out too well. I ended up moving them to my 55-gallon, but it may have had something to do with my water as well. I know the fishtubers cockatoides, I heard that they would probably be the best candidate for a hard water breed, but I could just never get them to go. And I've never really heard of anybody breeding them in the harder water. But I know that a lot of fistromas, they need that softer water to breed.
Yeah. I've never kept them, but I would like to one day, because I mean I love the crevenza so much that I feel like it's sort of maybe the next step would be a pistogramas. So yeah.
But another thing too, I just recently got an RO system that I got hooked up in the garage, which is going to be the new fish room.
Yeah.
And so hopefully I can be able to make that water soft and get that lower pH to where they're going to be breeding.
Yeah. Hey, Derek, and Kevin Rosenberg says, I breed my cockatoides, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
In 6.5 pH.
Yeah, see, mine's 7.8, so that's way off.
It's so funny. The honey blue eyes in here, I'm really hoping I can breed these guys. They're an endangered fish, so the fact that I've got them is awesome. But they're at a 6.8 pH, and this is 5. No, this is like 6. So it's a big drop. So I slowly acclimated them by, adding water over 2 hours and put them in, and their colours have just come out way better than the other tank. And then further research probably says that they do appreciate the softer water. So I'm really hoping that I can get some eggs and some babies out of these guys.
Do you have anything in like your local water that you can use to maybe pull the pH down?
To bring the pH down?
Yeah. Or do you guys have access to any leaves or any other thing that gives you those tannins and is able to bring that pH down?
Well, this is fluval stratum. So that's the substrate, and that drops. That's what makes it drop so much. That brings it right down, makes it a bit more acidic. Finish this one. I actually haven't tested this one in ages, but that's the shell or skeleton of an almond leaf, and that I put them in there. That's mainly for the shrimp, and then the fry love to just nibble on that. But I haven't even thought about the fact that might change the pH in here, and maybe that's why I've got more of an explosion of endless.
Yeah, so let me grab this real quick and I'll show you. So I've got stuff like this.
Yep.
And like these dried banana skins.
Banana skins.
So these are actually tools that will help you lower your pH. That way you can get it for like breeding, and it'll also add tannins to the water. That way you get that darker water, help those fish feel more safe.
Well, the only ones I've seen over here are the almond leaves, yeah. So I'm just reading the chat too.
I feel like I'm getting a lot of feedback when I talk.
I'm not. Not on my end.
Okay.
No, it's perfect. Now you've got me curious. I'll have to do a pH test on this, as long as I can get the duckweed out of the way.
Yeah. I mean, I think what is that, a 10-gallon?
Yeah.
So adding one almond leaf, well, it won't move it too drastically. But if you added a couple, and maybe like 3 or 4, you'll probably see a change.
Yeah. Well, I only do one at a time. It's when it turns into a skeleton, I usually take it out and put another one in, but I've just run out now, so I've left that one in a bit longer. But yeah, it's a cool tank. If you're using tap water plus stratum, you probably blew through the buffering ability quickly if you have a normal KH bicarbonates. You could be correct then, and I could also not know what you mean. Yeah, Blackwater tanks are awesome. So I was going to show you. Do you have? We were talking just before the stream started about the GoPro. I've got like a similar thing. It's like a cheap version. But do you have one of these?
Gimbal? No, but I want one. Is that one for your phone?
I lost you for about 10 seconds then, I reckon.
Is that gimbal for your phone?
Yes. So you put your phone in there, and then yeah, you've got your controls, left, right, up, down, and you can zoom in and out. But yeah, basically, I've used that on any videos because right now I'm like bouncing around while I walk. On a few videos,
I'm on an exercise ball, so me too.
Exactly. But yeah, when we went away and we went to the Great Barrier Reef and stuff, I got that as a birthday present, and I love it. If I can film on it at any chance, I will. I'll use it as a stand. That's what I was going to do. I'll set it up so you can see from the the steadiness, as long as I don't accidentally lock myself out, how good it really is. It's made by DJI, which is a hello. Here we go. So it'll kick in now. Whoa!
I heard it stabilize them. Oh yeah, that's way better.
Just so smooth. I mean, that's just me walking around. I'll take you outside. Oh.
Yeah, that makes it way better. So I've actually been wanting to get one of those for my Canon M50, but they're pretty expensive.
It was $220, I think.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Yeah, expensive. Obviously wouldn't be $200 for you guys because our Aussie dollar is atrocious. But yeah, I use it as a stand, and what's really cool as well is it has an app, so you can set up like hyperlapses and time lapses. So you can sit it down, and over 10 minutes, it can go from here to here. So I've got some really cool footage of some of the fish tanks where the fish are just going 100 miles an hour, and it's actually time lapse of maybe 5 minutes compressed into like about 10 or 12 seconds.
Yeah, they are cheaper for your phone, and that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about was, like, as we both are doing videos and live streams as well, just the different equipment that we're using. Like, I know we both had our laptops crash, which have given us a bit of time off from YouTube. And I think that's why you're on your phone right now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I do have backup desktop, but yeah, I wanted to be able to show you guys the tanks while we talk about it. So I thought, no, phone's better.
So my biggest issue was, like, this is the first time I've been on YouTube for probably 3 weeks, just because I got my new phone, which is a Galaxy Note 10 Plus, and the thing doesn't even have a spot for a mic input. It takes one of those new Type-C chargers, so I couldn't use my microphone for it, but I got my new camera, and then so I had to take my editing from my phone to the laptop, and then I had 3 videos ready to go, and my laptop crashed. I lost all 3 videos. I had to completely get a new laptop, which luckily we have like a rewards program at work where I had enough. We get like little coins for doing a good job or whatever. Luckily, I had enough coins where I turned it in for a new laptop, and that's what I'm using tonight. So hopefully the sound, the video, all that's all right. But hopefully you can get a new laptop as well. That way we can both get going again and start uploading more videos.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the I've got some really bad feedback.
Yeah.
Open my mouth. But that's the aim, is to hopefully by Christmas I've managed to be able to put out 3 videos since it all happened. But to be honest, your channel's inspired me to do things a little bit in a different way, and I want to probably streamline a series a bit more educational on like how that water change thingamy-bob, you guys call it a python, but we don't have that down here. How that works. Just some of the basics. Going back to basics to help new fish hobbyists, fish keepers, and do a series on it. Maybe put out 10 videos. 1 a week. Just sort of pre-record it, have it all under the same format, and then continue doing the other things I love. Because like the last video I put out, it was a few days ago, I put out a video about the honey blue eyes, and I effectively made 2 videos. One was like sort of a bit of fun talking about moving them and, why I was moving them and that sort of stuff. And then the second video was just as many facts as I could possibly teach people about honey blue eyes. And then I went, you know what? I'll put it in the same video. And I'm trying to get that balance right. Whereas I think with that video, like, I'm really proud of it, really love it, had a good response to it. Not a lot of views yet, but it is designed to sort of for people to be able to actually find information on honey blue eyes, because there's no informative video on YouTube about them. But yeah, it was kind of like, oh, should I have just done the last 4 minutes? Because if you want information about them, then that's probably the best part of it. Or, do I do them as 2 separate videos? Because I'm having fun at the start doing whatever, mucking around with Harry. And then, I don't know, like trying to blend the 2 together. I think that's what I want to do. But I'm also conscious of, moving forward, editing videos. Maybe if I have an educational element and then a fun element in a separate video.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work, man. And like one of the main reasons that I started on YouTube was because when I got back into the hobby, like, couldn't remember a lot of things. A lot of things came with me, but the things that I couldn't remember, I was looking it up, and YouTube videos were popping up on exactly what I was looking for. And I was like, man, this has helped so much. Hopefully, once I get going again, I can start making videos and helping people out the same exact way.
Yeah.
And so far, it's gotten a pretty good response. I feel like a lot of people like to see the more entertainment side of it, but I feel like just sticking to the basics and helping people is going to be my continued method, because that's the whole reason I started to begin with, was just to help people that are getting into the hobby. That way, if they're having issues, they're just going to quit. And the last thing we want is for people that are having issues with their tanks not be able to find an answer and then just giving that tank away. So if we can help people be successful right in the very beginning, then they're going to continue to stay in the aquarium hobby. And that's the only way that this hobby's going to grow.
Who is your favorite fish tuber or fish channel?
Aqua Mate.
Yes.
Probably the person that I've learned the most from is Lucas from LRB Aquatics, just because he's actually located in the same state as I am. So he uses RO water, but we have quite a bit of the same type of water, and our fish rooms are kind of the same. He keeps a lot of nano fish, he keeps a lot of shrimp, and that's basically what I've been striving on, is trying to keep these nano fish in these small tanks. That way I can have a lot more tanks, a lot more fish, and just keep it going like that. My lights are shutting out now.
Sorry?
Said my lights are shutting off. It's getting late.
I see. I really like Flip Aquatics and Coral 12G and that sort of stuff, because I feel like it's a journey and it's an experience with them. It's not, and it's like it's informative, but you're kind of like, oh, I want to do that, but it takes, Rob's built an incredible business out of what he's doing. So he's going to go big scale all the time. And George has obviously done the same sort of thing, but he's got a wow factor, I suppose, about lots of his videos, because he's doing something a bit different. I can't even pronounce his name, Paul Cufaro or Carafaro, I don't know how to say it. He goes like mega big, and I'm like, all right, well, that I don't mind him or anything, nothing against it, but that's probably too big for me. I feel like the things that those guys sort of focus on, being George and Rob, the things that you can totally do in your home aquarium,
Right.
and they're sort of inspiring and give you ideas. So I think it's probably like those two elements. It's like, education, so what to do, how to do it, how to make all this happen, but also inspire as well and say, hey, you can try this. Like shrimp, I didn't even know about shrimp, 2 years ago, and then they've red cherry shrimps, so they breed very easily, but having them breed and starting with 5 and having 50 and all of a sudden made me look at the hobby again in a different way. And I think they're those moments that it doesn't cost you a cent, but they're those moments that that's what changes people, that's what stays with people and sticks with them, I think.
Right.
And even these guys, the honey blue eyes, like Pam, 54 Punchy, was talking about them. And she's like, oh, have you ever seen honey blue eyes? They're native in Australia. I'm like, no. And then she got me so interested in them that one day, again, a guy through YouTube, he knew that we were talking about them, and he actually messaged me and said, hey, I work at an aquarium and we've actually got some honey blue eyes in. So I just went straight down there, bought them, and now I finally have some. And you can't get them over in America, they're illegal, and it's kind of, it's no way, it's not even if Pam's still here, I don't know, no way to rub it in anyone's face that I've got them, but it's cool that I can share them with people that I know that really enjoy them. So it's almost, again, they've inspired me to get the fish that I love now too, and they're like my favorite fish at the moment.
Yep. And that's another thing too, is that a lot of my ideas come from other people. Like a lot of the things that I do isn't inspired by me, it's inspired by other people that are doing it in the hobby, which makes having YouTube and this fish tube community is just so amazing, because people will inspire you to do those things. Or if someone finds out something like those honey blue eyes that Pam gave you, she tells you about it, you go and find it. And I've done that a lot. And you can actually find like your favorite fish. Like right now, I have a lot of guppies and stuff, but as I watch other people's channels, I'm like, man, I really want to try to get those. That was one thing. I think it was Jimmy. Can't think of his channel name at the moment, but the
Swisky?
Yeah, Swisky. Couldn't think of it, but
I love his channel, so it's so artistic. A bit like Dan Slee's photography.
But a lot of his nano tank that he does is aquascaping, and a lot of the nano fish that he keeps, because nano fish is kind of what I'm focusing on at the moment. It's not really about aquascaping. It's just more like me throwing plants in and letting the plants grow out of control out of my tank. But as I see someone that is doing really sharp aquascapes, I'm like, man, I really need to try that out. So inspiration from other fish tubers or inspiring other people to do things that you're doing, that just makes you feel great. So Carrion Fish Nerd asked if he could use houseplants to grow his houseplant grow lights for his aquarium plants. I think 100%. I've actually used shop lights from Walmart. So just LED shop lights, 4 foot. I've got it on a couple rows on my rack, and I've been able to grow not really high-tech plants, but I've been able to grow some Amazon swords. Let's see what else I got. Some crypts, a lot of floating plants like hornwort, Java moss. I mean, if the light's not that strong, you can still grow some really good plants, but you're not going to be able to get those high-tech plants that maybe you're looking for. So if you're wanting a high-tech setup, then I would suggest looking into getting something like a Flue Ball 3.0, or I use a lot of Beamswork LEDs, and it works really well.
Sorry, I'm listening to you and I'm reading. Pam's still here, and I did touch on another touchy subject again. All right. No
she must have been working. I seen her at the beginning of the stream, then she came back.
Yeah, Pam's usually in for the long haul. It's good. Good value. I forget the other. There's something else you wanted to talk about. I can't remember what it was. Oh, Harry. Ladybird. Maybe it's the same one. Yeah, maybe. I'm just going to show you.
What is that?
It's a ladybird.
Oh.
In my garage.
We get ladybugs like crazy here in the winter.
Yeah?
Yeah, they'll come inside your house to try and stay warm, I guess. But during the warm season, you rarely ever see them.
Well, that's the second one we found this week inside.
Pam said she heard you talking smack about her, so she better take a break.
No, I never talk smack about Pam. I don't think she understands how much I enjoy her sense of humor.
Yeah. She tells a lot of good stories.
I know. It's annoying because she does live streams on, I think, Thursday for us, which is a late night Wednesday for you guys. And it's like after lunch, but before I can finish work. And I usually get home from work and then I jump on and she's just jumped off. And then she goes for 3 hours. So.
Fish keeping. What's up, Riley?
Riley, how are you? Yes, Aqua Smack for sure.
So earlier, I didn't get to tell him, but Melvin asked what was in the tanks behind me. So in this 38-gallon boat front, I've got the bumblebee platies, and I've got a random male betta. And then I've got the Corydoras egazizii. In this tank, I've got koi angels, dwarf neon rainbows, rummy nose tetra, neon tetras, peppered Corydoras, that a pair of Epistogramma cockatoides that I talked about a little bit ago. And I think that's it.
How many fighting fish do you have?
How many fish do I have?
No, how many fighting fish? So betters.
Oh, I currently have 3.
Okay. Have you ever bred them?
I have bred them. I've gotten eggs, but I didn't get them to hatch.
Okay.
So, and that's going to be that's actually my next video, the one that I'm currently working on. It's not about breeding bettas, but the tanks that I currently have them in are just bare bottom with some hornwort floating. And I'm actually going to be doing a challenge where I'm going to get like the viewer's opinion on what I should do with the tanks. And I think the challenge is going to be having 2 planted tanks with different substrates and then using the same exact lighting, the same exact plants, and seeing which substrate does better. So I just gave the whole video away, but that's going to be my next video. Don't bother watching it. You already know what it's about.
Yeah, but we got to see what the results are. How annoying is it when you do a video like that and you go, all right, we're going to, so like, for example, this one here, the nanoscape. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do that and I'm going to show me setting it up. And then in 6 months' time, we're going to come back and look at it. And I'm already like, I want to do another video on it, but it's not finished.
Right.
Still not finished. I mean, the Bacopa Maneri in here, like I cut it all in half, replanted it, and it's all grown again. So like I know I'm on the right path with it all. So I'm going to keep doing that and try and create a bit of a carpet there. The background plants didn't do too well. I chucked in some Anubias and I got some Amazon swords that man, they look really healthy in there. I think I might go and grab 3 or 4 more of those. And then that'll give us like just blank out. My wife was saying, you know, I like the video you did, but I don't like that I can see the Tic Tac box behind it and stuff because I like that the sun still gets through for the plants. I don't want to have a solid background on the back of it. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I just need to get more plants because the plants will take that over. You won't notice it ever again, but I want the sun to still be able to come in at the back.
Yeah, I was going to say something about that earlier. I think if you put a background on it, maybe like black or a different color, it would really help those plants and those honey blue.
Sort of stand out, you mean?
Yeah. I think black would look really good. I try to use black on a lot of my tanks just because if they have plants in them, that green on those plants is going to just show up so much better.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's exactly what she sort of said. I might get those other plants, like the 3 or 4 more, put them in, and if I think it still needs it, then I'll do it. And I need to do that with the goldfish tank. That was the whole plan with the goldfish tank, was to make it all black at the back and get the Alodia to really sort of pop. But the Alodia is growing really well. I'm like really, really happy with that because it's meant to be an easy plant to grow, but every time I've had it, it hasn't done too well. So I can see new growth all the time, and it really fills the tank. I might get 1 more batch of it. So I think the cold water fish are doing really well. There is a heater in my cold water tank. It just sits at 21 because I've got a Pleco in there as well.
What temperature do you keep it?
Well, 21 degrees, which I think might be around 63 or something like that for you.
Yeah, because I think I think when we made our Endler video, yours was like 24 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, so, like 65.
I think it was like high 60s, low 70s. So
yeah. Basically, a pleco can be like between 20 and 28 degrees. So I've just got it 1 degree over 20, and because someone had to find a new home for a whole bunch of fish, which we found, and then but yeah, I couldn't say no to the pleco. I'm like, I'll find a way to keep the pleco. He's awesome. He's about 6 or 7 inches long. It's a sailfin pleco. It's good looking fish.
You say it's a sailfin pleco?
Yeah, well, I thought it was something else. I'm pretty sure it's a sailfin. So I think they can get up to about 2 feet.
Wow.
Yeah, if that happens, then
yeah, that's gonna be
massive.
What's the biggest tank you got?
4 foot. So that's 55 gallons, I think. There are 2 of them.
So he's going to be half the size of your 4 foot tank.
If he gets bigger, then I'm going to have to get a bigger tank for him. But I reckon if he got bigger, then I would get I'd get a custom made tank. I'd do something like a 6 foot by 6 foot by 2 foot tall or something like that. Have like a big cube. And then, put him in there and put some Oscars and I don't know, like a school of silver dollars or something like that.
That would be cool. What
That'd be very cool.
Where would you get that custom tank made?
Well, I'm lucky that the guy about 15 minutes from me, he could easily make that for me. So then you'd have to get a stand made, and it'd just be where you can keep it. Hey, Harry! No! Come back here.
You have a guy 15 minutes from you that makes custom tanks.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I would be broke. I would be like, just turn my entire garage into one tank.
I don't have any room.
Yeah, your garage is big enough.
So, it's not when you've got a car in it. What am I missing in the chat? It says 20. Oh, Dr. Black, hello.
Blackie's here. Bob Kaler popped in.
Hey, Bob.
I didn't say anything to him, but I messaged him. So the Zen Ginger wants to know if the blue pandas on Gitgill's dwarf pandas, or are they larger guppies? So they're regular sized guppies. They're not dwarf by any means. My biggest one is probably an inch, maybe pushing an inch and a quarter. So the females stay smaller, which I think is good because female guppies can get pretty massive. But as far as the males, I mean, they're not any smaller than normal guppies, but they are absolutely stunning. That's probably one of my favorite guppies in the fish room right now. So send me an email before you buy them, and I'll check out the tank, look at how many I got, and if you actually want some, then I'll send you a deal on them. So send me an email before you actually order on Get Gills, and I'll send you a couple extra if you do want some.
I love that you guys do that.
What is it?
To see you guys, the YouTube community is so big in America that, if you want something, there's probably a YouTuber out there keeping that fish or breeding them that you can actually buy them and get them sent to you. And whereas over here, I look at some of your guppies and go, "Oh, I'd love to get those, but I can't get them from you because I'm too far away."
Yeah. Can you actually order fish through the mail there?
Yeah, we can. There's still a service. So I did a video with the guy, Nano Tanks Australia in Sydney, and he's got a bit of a deal going on at the moment. And I can't remember what it is. I think it's Aqua Mate 20. You get 20% off any deal, and all over Australia wide. And yeah, he'll post a whole bunch out. And there's some fish that he's got that I'd like to get from him. So I'll probably put in an order with him, and that would be the first time I've ever done it though. But it's funny. I think I'm not a huge African. I'm not a huge American cichlid keeper. I mean, I've never kept one. I'd love to. Some of the smaller fish, I like. Well, I mean, I like a lot of the smaller fish, but some of the ones that really get my attention aren't that common. So, you know, it's probably a path that I'll be going down in the future, importing. But you could never really do it. We're so far from anywhere else in the world that I could never order anything from America. You probably order it from Asia,
Right.
Indonesia.
I'm sure you could find some really nice guppies there.
Yeah,
have you ever tried to look on like Aqua Bid or anything?
No.
I don't know if that's only United States or if that's worldwide.
I think it is.
Another thing I do, like if I'm thinking about importing some guppies, I'll go on Instagram because I follow a bunch of people from just from different countries that will import them. So I'll reach out to them, ask them what types they have available, and then they'll send it to a transshipper who will then send it to me. And then I just go through my quarantine process, get them cleaned up, and then start breeding them. And then I'll sell them. If they do good, I'll keep breeding them. If they don't do that good, then I'll end up stop breeding them and throw them in the community tank or the mutt tank, and then fill that tank with a different breed. And that's pretty much my process on certain types of guppies. If they're doing well selling, then I'll just keep breeding them, keep selling them. If they're not, I'll throw them in the mutt tank, let them interbreed, and see what cool colors come out of it.
That's cool. Like, hitting the point where the endless, like, just going nuts. Like, I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, I know. Do you have a local fish store you can take them to?
Yeah, I give them up to there. But what's really weird is I give them to the stores and then they lose half of them. Or even more than half of them. They die really quickly in their tanks. I'm like, what's going on? Because like, they're pretty fish and I reckon they'd sell really well. And I'd be happy to sell direct to people, but I would hate to sell direct to people and then they die really quickly.
So, Demisto 57 asks if I find keeping guppies in cooler temperatures with help with their hardiness. So you could help out with this too, since endlers are basically the same thing. I know you keep a couple guppies as well, but one thing I've noticed, if I keep guppies in a higher temperature, I'll get a lot more breeding from them, but they'll actually grow a lot faster, which in turn kills them a lot faster. So keeping them in a cooler temperature will help with their hardiness, will help with their lifespan, but it will also slow down their breeding process. And not only that, but just keeping them in colder temperatures will also help with their hardiness, because a lot of people that breed guppies will have them in higher temperatures so that they get more of a volume. So when you put them in those colder temperatures, they adapt to something different. And then once they start breeding, as they breed through a couple generations, those guppies will be more adapted to that colder temperature, which will in turn help with the lifespan of them and help with their hardiness.
I've heard that, and I was worried about that too with the goldfish. Like, you know, they're all good in cold water, but I was worried that putting a heater in, would that speed up their metabolism and shorten their lifespan, or I don't know. But it's, I mean, 21 degrees. I feel like it's pretty. It's not tropical, but it's not cold, effectively.
Right. The way that I do it, the way I breed my guppies is that if I'm running low on stock, then I'll crank up the temperature a little bit, get them going, get them breeding a little bit faster. But once I have a tank full, I'll let the temperature go down on its own. I'll just unplug the heater, let it go to room temperature. That way they can go to that cooler temperature. They're not going to breed as much, overpopulate the tank, and then it's going to help with them and not speed up their metabolism. They're not going to eat as much, so it's going to help with the lifespan of them too. Thank you, Bob, for linking up Aqua Mate's channel.
I was just reading that because I'm in the StreamYard thing, and I'm like, does Bob want me to click on that link? I don't. No, I just realized what it was. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
I was about to say I thought Bob was a mod, but I can't tell on StreamYard.
No, you can't. That's right. So we've been talking for the last week or so, and we both had a lot of fun doing the Endler command. So there's so many topics. I'm not sure what would be a good one. I think the fact that you import a lot of your equipment and fish, and I don't, could be a good point of difference. Something to sort of compare and say, you know, how do you get these things and whatnot, or I don't know. We'll have to keep thinking about it. But I'm definitely keen to do another video.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one of the cool things about us being on pretty much opposite sides of the world too, is that things are done completely different, but at the same time, we're looking for the same exact goal. Like, we're just trying to keep and breed fish, but we have to go through such different processes to get to the same exact result.
That's correct. Yeah. And it's funny because, like, I never really thought about it at all. Like, that's just how I've done it for 26 years. There was actually there's a tropical fish farm right near where I lived when I was growing up. It's actually close to where I live now, but it shut down maybe 10 or 15 years ago. But you literally just went to this person's house, and you went in their driveway, and then you turn left. Oh, that's going to be weird on this because I know everything's backwards. But you turn left
to
go
right.
to their house, and then you turn right. It's my right.
Yeah.
And you'd walk down, and there would be all these sheds and all these concrete ponds, and he was breeding goldfish, breeding guppies, breeding tetras, like breeding everything. And you go there and just pick up all these awesome fish. But it's literally this dude's house. And what was cool about it as well was always busy. There was always people there. It wasn't just like, you know, you go there, you're the only one, you walk around, grab something and leave. There's always people shopping.
Do a lot of people just shop, or do a lot of people go there to just hang out?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I was a lot younger, so I always just assumed that everyone was... I reckon they were shopping because there was always parents and kids and stuff. And they don't usually go there to just hang out. They sort of go there to, you know, they're going there to grab the next fish for their fish tank or set a new tank up and what to go with. And that's where I got the white cloud minnows, the first fish that I ever had.
Yeah.
Some of the colours endless give you are amazing.
Oh, I know. I'm actually working on a strain right now. I actually got the strain out of the yellow tigers. They've got like a white flagged tail, and then their body has like let me try to look at it. Their body has like a red and blue. Well, their tail it looks like a yellow flag. Like, they are crazy looking. But I pulled them out. I've gotten 2 males, pulled them out. I actually threw in the yellow tiger antler females, and they're starting to breed out. Some are coming out, the yellow tigers, and then some are coming out exactly like these flagtails, is what I'm calling them right now. But they are absolutely stunning. I'll have to send you a picture of them later.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. GRB, yes. If the place still existed, I would totally be there. Maybe I should just go there anyway and be like, hey, I know there's no signs, but this place used to exist. And they'd be like, yeah, we closed it to the public. And I'm like, but we really want to see it.
Yeah.
It's sort of a dream. Like, that's what I'd like to do one day is to buy a house on a little bit of land and then have a big shed and just set it up and like have some rows of tanks, have like a big feature tank, have my the stuff that we were talking about before, be able to sit down and watch some sport, play some games, and just chat about fish as well. Yeah.
So I posted a comment. I don't know if you can see it or not, but from the Zen Ginger. Said she has a grow out tank that is split in half. Males on one side, females on the other. Shared water, shared filtration, same exact conditions. Lost 8 males in one night. What do you think?
But not females.
Not females.
The only thing I could think is like, well, one night sounds crazy. Like, if you said it was a couple of weeks, I'd be like, well, maybe the males they can sense the females and they're just going nuts, attacking each other, trying to get to the females. Because let's face it, guppies and endlers, the males are relentless. They just do not stop. So maybe I would sort of think it's stress that they can see them, they can smell them, they can't get to them, and they're competing. They're probably beating up on each other because they feel like none of them are actually getting the goal, so they're always competing.
Right.
What do you?
Yeah, I think you're on to something, definitely. One thing how they died, if they're in the tank, if they jumped out, they're definitely trying to get across to the females. If they're inside the tank, I would definitely check for any ripped fins or any damage that you can see from the other ones. Also, another thing that endlers and guppies do, you'll have more dominant males, which will have a lot stronger color. So if you can check and see if the ones that are dying are the ones with less color, then they're basically just being outcompeted.
I'm just watching my. You've got them on the screen. Trying to pick the dominant male and see if they're how much they stress each other out, and it's almost like they focus on a female and they sort of like hold their ground until they know what they want to do. And if a male gets in their space, then they turn their attention to the male, not the female, and then they go back to the female. So I wonder, like, they're all holding their ground, and then they're like, no, we're just turning on each other because they're not actually getting to the female. Yeah.
Yeah, she said she's.
Sorry, you go.
2 were found with split tails, so they're definitely getting attacked by another male. So I would try to split them up in different tanks if you could, if you have an extra tank. If not, then you may just pull out the divider and just let them go. Because that definitely sounds like what's happening. They're trying to get to the females and they're just fighting each other.
Yeah, Zen Ninja, why have you set it up that way? Because you don't want them to breed yet, or you're trying to pick the best male, or?
Riley's leaving Fish Keeping Jamaica. Thanks for stopping by, buddy.
Thanks, Riley. I was going to say good to see you, but good to see your name on the screen.
Yeah. It's good to read your words. So the last few things that I want to talk about, we'll probably go a little bit longer. We're at an hour and a half, may hit 2 hours, but if you're up for it.
I would love to. My phone battery is at about 11% at the moment, so I've probably got 5 minutes maybe in me.
Okay. So I want to talk about your channel a little bit. One of my favorite videos from you is the Corridors video, the Pygmaeus. I think they're absolutely stunning. And one thing I heard you say in that video was that you didn't see anyone else keeping that fish. Is that a rare type of fish there in Australia? Because it seems like a pretty common fish around here.
Yeah, it's not rare, but I think it's probably in its own niche sort of position. So over here, like, I see people that buy a 5, 10, 20-gallon tank, and then they put endless in there, and they put fighting fish, and they put shrimp, and they put tetras, and maybe a couple gourami or whatever, and then they'll get 1 pleco or 1 or 2 cories or whatever. No one has a nano tank with a nano fleet of catfish. You're always treated like it's a small tank. I'll just get 1 catfish. And I think that's where they sort of fascinated me, that I'm like, I'm going to test in the water. I'd like to put them in this tank that you're looking at right now. Because, I mean, they're all good in the tank they're in, but I think they might thrive better in this tank. But that was the thing. I think I always see people buy 1 catfish in a small tank when they don't realise that there's an option to have a Corridora Pygmaeus and have 6 of them in a 10-gallon tank and have a little tribe doing the same thing and far happier than 1 standalone Cory. And it's interesting that I was thinking that, and then that you're saying that, because that video has hit over 1,100 views. So about 5 or 6 people every day are actually searching for that video and looking at that video. And I reckon that's what it is, because they're going, it's a nano tank, what can I put in it?
Right. Yeah, from a YouTube standpoint, that video is pretty much like on point with your title. The thumbnail's good, so did a really good job on that, and that's one of the reasons that it's hit the view count that it has. But not only that, the video is just awesome. I've never kept those Corridoras, but I have a lot of 10-gallon tanks that I use shrimp for cleanup in, but I'm definitely going to try to get some of them after seeing that video and allowing them to clean up as my 10-gallon tanks. Plus, I love corridors. I have, I think, 6 different strains. So just adding those would be really beneficial for me and what I'm trying to do in my fish room. So yeah, I've watched that video a couple times. I love them. And the bigger school you can get when it comes to corridors will definitely make a difference on their behavior and just watching them school together. They're really cool fish. So that's probably my favorite video from you.
No, I appreciate that. Awesome, because I don't like it.
You don't like it?
Well, I mean, I like the topic, and I like that it's got the information and it's got some nice, pretty shots. But I look at it and go, "Why am I acting like an idiot?" And why did I not edit this properly? And then all of a sudden it goes, and I know that's exactly what's going to happen. If you've got a YouTube channel and you're constantly putting out videos, you're going to work so hard on one video and spend ages editing and music, getting everything right, and then no one's going to watch it. And then you're going to put something up that you go, oh, this won't do well. And then bang, all of a sudden it explodes and you go, I did not expect that. What have I done differently here to there? So
right. I thought it was hilarious. Like in the car with the sunglasses on. I thought it was funny. And that's a big point that makes videos good is it showed your personality. It was funny as hell. And I think that's a lot of people, especially when they upload videos, they try to get all the information perfect. I know I do this a lot too, and it's hard to get away from. But showing your personality in it just made it so much better.
Well, I think maybe I'm glad you sort of said something about it because I never thought about it that way. And that's what I was talking about earlier, that having like a 4-minute fun video and a 4-minute informative video with the honey blue eyes, the one that I just did, maybe I should look at the Corey video and go, hang on, I did it well there because I just had fun in the intro and then was more informative and then fun halfway through. So
yeah,
I'll definitely take that on board. And as I think I sent you a message that said you sort of inspired that video because you made it more about, like I realized you put a video out there. You don't have to. Every video is different, and I think it goes back to what we were saying before: education and inspiration, like 2 different things. But like you inspired me by your educational videos, where I can sit there and listen and go, "Hey, if I grabbed a plant right now, or if I had that strain of guppy or whatever, I'd understand it so much better now." Whereas I know I was just walking around with the camera at stages, just pointing at tanks and having a chat and just doing updates. So I'm like, all right, I like that Kendall gives you a bit more depth, I think, in a video. So that's what I tried to do with that one.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference, and that's the reason that it has so many views. Is because all the information, your title, thumbnail, it's all on point. But outside of that, like what type of videos do you like to make? Because I know a lot of times I'll try to think of a video that I know is going to, or I hope is going to do well, like in search and suggested, but it may not be the type of video that I want to make. So what type of videos do you feel like you really love making and you feel the most comfortable making?
It's funny because if the world was full of Aqua Mates, so people that thought the way that I was thinking, when I put out a video, my absolute favorite videos were cans. The 2 videos doing the Cairns Aquarium tour and doing the Great Barrier Reef. Like, yeah, they were great experiences, but I had more fun doing those videos. And that was just a lot of music and slicing together some pretty pictures and trying to share what the experience was. And they're 2 easily by far two of my favorite videos to watch if I come up on something and I go, oh, I'll click that. I want to watch that video again. And then one I didn't expect to be so fun was actually for anyone that doesn't know, we did a series called Fishtubers Down Under with Dr. Black, who's here, myself and a few others, and Dr. Black and Perth Cichlids turned it all around on me and made me answer some questions of theirs. And all I did was just walk around the lake with the gimbal and answer their questions. And I put it all together and I didn't edit too much. I didn't put music to it or anything like that. And I kind of just feel like that sort of... Do you ever do a video where you just go, I feel like I've grown. I feel like I've actually taken something in and applied it when you upload that video? And I mean, that's how I sort of felt with that. That one was a lot of fun too. And the honey blue eye one, honestly, I feel like that was one where I could blend fun and some information that I didn't even know about honey blue eyes. And as far as I'm aware, I'm the first person to put an informational video on honey blue eyes on YouTube, because there's about 4 or 5 other videos that shows some footage of them swimming, but there's no talking, there's no information. So I'm hoping that, well, it doesn't matter if I'm first or not, but I'm hoping that it becomes a source of information for people that are interested.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, with there not being that many videos on there, that's going to be anybody that's searching for that video. Your video should be one of the first ones to come up. So that's a really good way to look at. You're having fun, the knowledge. It's one of your favorite fish right now, yet at the same time, it still has a potential to be a breakout video because there's a gap in the lack of information.
Yeah, and that's right. And they've only been found in 18 places in Australia. So the awareness of them being out there is through people that I can never pronounce this right. I always say pseudo-mogul, probably pronounced pseudo-mughal, but fans of that type of fish, because there's a lot of breeds out there. The Pacific blue eyes over there in the cold water tank are closely related, and there's some thread fins and a few other types that that's probably where they start to get recognition. They go, I really like this type of fish, and then they find honey blue eyes. And there's definitely that element that you can't have them if you're not in Australia. So Then there's that going, oh, that sucks. I really like the way those ones look, and you just can't get them. But I'm the same. Koi are illegal in my state, but they're not illegal in other states in Australia. So I would love a koi pond one day, but I'm not allowed to have them because they're illegal here.
Right.
So there's definitely those. And Asian arowanas, you can't have Asian arowanas. We can't have them. We can have Saratogas. I think you can have other types of arowana, but Canada can have them.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I think Canada's the only ones that can have them.
And Asia?
Oh, Asia, yeah. I mean, outside of their, I guess, home or natural environment.
Yep.
So you said that, well, let me hit this comment real quick. GRB says that he keeps the pygmaeus too, and he's got them breeding like crazy. So you may hook up with him, ask him what he's doing to try or to get them to breed, and maybe you can get your corridors pygmaeus breeding too.
That's a great idea. GRB is another Australian fish tuber. I didn't know you had the corridors pygmaeus, and you reckon 8? That's fantastic. And sparkling gouramis. I love sparkling gouramis.
Yeah.
Now you're making me think the other tank over there, when I get rid of the Probensis fry, instead of getting white clouds, just get 10 pygmy cories and 2 or 3 sparkling gouramis. But apparently, sparkling gouramis are very aggressive. Because I was going to put them in with that tank in there has a few male endlers, a few pygmy cories, and a betta. But apparently, the sparkling gouramis will attack the betta, and it'll end badly.
Yeah, that's what I doubt he lets them breed out in the tank. A lot of corridors, you have to pull the eggs out and let them hatch. Like, that's what I've been doing with the pandas, the peppards, and I haven't got my others to breed, but as they do, I will probably pull the eggs out just because they're in community tanks mostly. So with being in with the sparkling gouramis, I doubt he just lets the eggs go and they do what they do.
Yeah.
But if you keep them in a tank by yourself, you may be able to pull off some just tank breeding.
That would be. I'd love. I reckon if I had 500 pygmy cories, I wouldn't be able to sell them. I'd be like, nah, I'm going to put them in another tank.
Yeah, I have a fish room of 4,000 tanks with all pygmy corridors.
Have you seen that video, Flip Aquatics?
Oh yeah, the ones where they all passed away.
Yeah, so that's what my video is competing with, which is it's funny because it gets into like that top 5 sort of mark or whatever when you search for it. But that Flip Aquatics video, I'm like, oh, that's so sad. I don't know about pygmy cories, but I know with other cories that they can produce a toxin or a venom that when you put them in a bag and you take them home from a store or send them by mail, that it's very dangerous to try and just add the fish with the water because they freak out and they can poison the water. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, corridors. I'm not sure which ones. I know the ones with like yellow on them. So this is what I've heard. Like the stir-by corridors, how they have the yellow fins. Those are supposedly more toxic, I guess. But I watched a video on breeding corridors where he talked about going into a local fish store and the fish store worker bagged them up for him, and as he was going to leave, his phone must have died. But as he was going to leave, all of those corridors had passed away because they just blew out so much toxin and just killed them all. They killed themselves.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Sorry.
Oh, you heard me?
I heard you, but I'm now at like 4% battery, so I'm going to have to love you and leave you. We almost made 2 hours. You said, let's just do 1 hour. So it's been awesome chatting, and it's awesome seeing everyone in the chat. Feel free to keep...
Before you go, you have any upcoming videos and live streams you want to throw at them?
To be honest, no, nothing. The only thing that we'll probably be doing is Thirsty Rabbit and Dr. Black and I probably try and do a stream very soon. We haven't done one for a couple of weeks now, so we'll get together, put our heads together, see when we're available, and we'll schedule one on the Aqua Mate channel or Dr. Black's channel, and put something out. But no, to be honest, I've got nothing. I do want to do the video on the Australian blackworms.
Oh yeah.
But I'll probably try and put 1 or 2 more out before Christmas. Get that laptop, and then I'll probably go hard in the new year, doing as much as I can, finally having the equipment available. What about yourself?
As of right now, just that beta video that I talked about, and as of live streams, my work schedule is pretty much opposite every single week, so I don't have a set schedule for live streams. But now that I've got my new laptop and I figured out how to work the StreamYard, hopefully I'll be able to go live more often.
Yeah. I just want to say as well before I leave that dude, massive congratulations. You hit 1,000 subscribers like 6 or 7 weeks ago, and you're already at 1,600. It just shows that your videos are contagious. They make people they search for it. You've got great thumbnails. You get great attention, and it's not just that people are finding your videos and just watching; they're actually subscribing as well. Like, good on you. Keep it up. I love that you and I get to chat every now and then. So yeah, no, I appreciate it, but I just wanted to say congratulations because you deserve it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now you're coming up on 1,000 as well, so you need to hit that, buckle down, get some good videos out so we can get you there. And for everyone that stopped by, we appreciate you. I don't know if anyone else is streaming tonight. It's pretty late. It's late here, early where Aqua Mate is in Australia. But definitely go check out Aqua Mate. Give him a subscription. Watch a few of his videos. He makes some really good videos and has a really cool personality that goes in. So definitely keep it up. Hopefully you get your laptop going again so that we can live stream more. You can catch back up on your videos, and hopefully we can get going again.
Stop saying nothing. Get out of the garage.
What is it?
No, nothing. I appreciate the compliment.
No problem. Yeah, we definitely need to do a live stream on your channel soon, and I'll definitely have you back so that we can continue this conversation on Northern and Southern Hemisphere differences.
Yeah, I lost after that, but I think I know what you're saying. I appreciate it. I will speak with you soon. Bye to everyone in the chat. Awesome to see you all.
See you guys.
Oh, and thanks, Bob, as well, for the links. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Bob, for being a awesome mod. Later, Josh. I'll talk to you later.
See you guys.